Hello and welcome to your video tutorial in creating digital graphics using Photoshop. Preparation is everything. First of all, you need a recipe, a list of instructions that you need to follow in order to create your digital graphic. Then you need the ingredients, the actual images that are going to be included in your digital graphic. Let's get started. In Photoshop, you will open up the images and then use layers to combine all of the resources, all of the ingredients into a digital graphic. To do this, you'll need to select File and Open. Our first layer is View of the Lake. So you'll choose Open. I already have my image opened. Here it is. And I'm going to remove the padlock to unlock this layer. Double click and you can rename the layer. I'm going to call it Layer 1. I'm then going to change the layer effect to luminosity. What this does is create a black and white effect, a monochrome effect to your layer. Now, you can't see that at present, but if we bring in a new layer, a rectangle that we click and drag and place initially on top, and then we can reposition using the layers panel to drag it below, it then shows you that the image is in black and white using the layer effect luminosity. This rectangle layer we've now brought in, we're going to change the color to more of a coffee tone so that the layer that includes the lake is going to also change color. Double click, pre-selected this coffee color tone, use the picker tool to select it within our swatch panel, press OK, and there we have the fill color has now changed, and we are well underway to creating the illusion of the impression that this particular graphic is on Titan Noon. Why? Because we need to make sure that the graphic that we are creating is relevant to the topic, and for your project in Creative iMedia, you are to create a book cover for a book titled Saturn Explorer. Titan Noon just happens to be orbiting the planet Saturn, and we're going to use this particular example to demonstrate how you create a montage that then you can apply to your project when it comes to developing your book cover. So the next thing we need to do is to open a new layer. Our new layer is going to be called Solar System. We open that layer up. Here it is. Using the selection tool, we click and drag this new layer onto our canvas and release. As you can see, it's not quite as big as the original image, so we need to enlarge it. Using the Shift key, you maintain the proportions of the image when you enlarge it. You need to stretch it so it's the width, at least the width of the existing canvas. Double click to ensure that that layer has been increased in size. Now what we're going to do is this is going to be in the background to the original layer that we started with, which is the lake. What we can do is hide the layers by clicking on the image of an eye here. In order to have the solar system in the background, we need to erase the sky for the original image of the lake so that we can see the solar system. So to do that, we need to first of all select the sky. So we're going to use the magic wand tool, ensure that our tolerance is set to 100, and click on the sky. As you can see, it's only selected partly a segment of the sky, but if we hold down the shift key, we can enhance the selection, and with the dancing ants it shows that we have the whole sky now selected. Now we can delete the sky. Press select, deselect, or shortcut Command D on a Mac, Control D on a PC, and we're ready to select our next tool. Now that we have the background removed, we should now be able to see the solar system in the background. And we can do this by repositioning the layers by bringing the solar system underneath the lake layer. Now on this occasion it has overlapped the terrain, the lake itself. So what we need to do is remove this segment of the solar system so it's just left with the impression that the solar system is in the background. To do this, we need to go back to our layer 1, the layer we clicked of the lake, and using the magic wand tool, we need to select effectively nothing, the transparent area that the sky used to be placed. We don't actually want to erase anything here. There's nothing here to erase. Okay. And when it comes to our solar system, we don't actually want to erase the solar system background. We actually want to erase the part of the solar system that overlaps the lake and the terrain of the lake image. So to do that, we need to go to select our menu and choose inverse. And what this does is it then chooses the opposite to what the previous selection was in order to enabling you to actually change your original selection. This is quite handy rather than trying to either select many different colors and many different various pixels that are included within the lake image. It would take some time really to ensure that you select it perfectly. So what we've done is we've gone and done the reverse. We've selected an area which we know is of one is transparent. Okay, effectively it's a lot easier to select a transparent background. There's no pixels effectively included here, so it's easier for the magic wand to purely select it all. But we don't actually want to erase that top half, we want to erase the bottom half, and that's what the inverse tool does. So we choose inverse, it changes the selection from the top to the opposite part of the image that was not selected, which is of course the bottom. Now with the solar system selected, we can erase it, we can delete it, and now we're left with the solar system, just the top half in the background. Deselect, and you're ready to select your next tool. In fact, if we reveal the layer at the bottom, the rectangle layer, you can now see that it's beginning to come together and coming together and looking more like the impression of the Titan moon. Layer 2, we're also going to apply a layer effect. So it's currently set to normal. We're going to change that to overlay. And now we're going to bring in another layer, another image, which is of the solar system. Click and drag, bring it on, place it onto the canvas. Make it a bit more dynamic. We're just going to rotate it slightly. Just lower it there. and maybe decrease the size of Saturn so it is in the background rather than the foreground. And just as we did with the solar system layer, we're going to apply an overlay. It doesn't really matter whether it's above or below the solar system. I'm just going to put it above. And then we're going to bring in another layer, another image. This one's going to be of the Voyager 1. This is effectively now you sprinkling your toppings onto your cake. And as you can see, it's actually below the lake, so we need to reposition that layer so it's at the top. It's at the top ends, remember. And we're going to zoom in, which you can use the view zoom in and zoom out option. The shortcuts are Command plus and Command minus in Mac, and Control plus, Control minus on a PC. Make it more dynamic again by rotating it, by actually positioning the cursor hovering over one of these corner anchors, and it enables you to actually rotate the image. Press Command 0 means that we return back to full screen, effectively within the confinements of the software. And we're going to bring in our cherry on the top, which is our astronaut. And since I've already done it, I'm going to go to that layer which is in here, click and drag onto our canvas, and it's actually on top as well. Our cake toppings. Increase the size so it's all in perspective, and maintain the proportion by using the Shift key. Otherwise, it does that, which is not what you want to do. You want to hold down the Shift key to maintain the proportions, and there you have it. So that is your tutorial in creating a digital graphic in Photoshop. Alternatively, if you don't have Photoshop, you can use a piece of software called GIMP, which you can download from the internet. It's open source, which means it's free software, and I'd recommend the penultimate version rather than the top one here, as that would be a beta version. Potentially, it may contain bugs. My preference would be to go with the an older release, just the one below it. That's GIMP, gimp.org. That is the end of your tutorial in creating digital graphics using a range of tools, techniques, and including assets to ensure that it is fit for purpose. Take care, stay safe.